Hi guys, welcome back. All right, this is my friend Erica Campbell, who is the founder of the Milk Manual, and she's an IBCLC. So I thought I would have her on to answer all of your questions about breastfeeding and the COVID vaccine that have landed in my DMs. And that's not my territory. So, Erica, starting us off, what do we know about COVID and breastfeeding or this vaccine and the breastfeeding? What's the foundation that we need to know going into this conversation?
So far, as far as COVID and breastfeeding, actually, with both of them, we as a society are still kind of learning. So everything's kind of trial and error right now. But I think with COVID and breastfeeding, we have kind of learned, that it is still okay to breastfeed your baby throughout the virus. So if you do have COVID and you're concerned about being near your baby, taking those same protocols, wearing a mask, proper hand hygiene, you are still able to feed your baby at your comfort. So if that's what you choose to do in that moment, that's perfectly fine. And if you choose not to, that's fine as well. And then as far as the vaccine, because it is so new, there right now are no studies that really discuss the outcomes of anything. There have been several healthcare professionals that are pregnant and lactating who've received the vaccine, and some of them are sharing their experience over social media just with, their milk output, how they feel, how baby feels. But as far as the impacts of, what happens after, we're still learning that right now. As far as I've seen, there have been no studies or no, information put out that says anything negative about it. But there also hasn't been anything that was necessarily positive. So I think right now it's just still in a learning stage.
I'm excited to see the results of the studies that are going on, and especially the medical professionals who've gotten this that are, pregnant, nursing, or, pumping, breastfeeding, things like that. So breast milk, we know is, a very highly kind of protected substance within the body. We know not a lot of stuff gets in there that's really not supposed to be in there. So what does that have to do, or how does that impact what passes to your baby if you're sick with COVID or in this vaccine? Do we have any information on that yet?
So, as far as you being sick with COVID, it will not be spread through breast milk. Most viruses aren't. It will be spread the same way, like respiratory droplets, if you were to pass it. And so that's why wearing the mask would be helpful. And because breast milk does have so many positive, like, qualities that protect against immunity, it is still recommended, to, if you can, give some breast milk during that time. And then as far as the vaccine, because it's not a live virus, it's an mRNA vaccine, there is nothing present in that would be transferred over into the breast milk. So even though you develop those antibodies, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe that they would be passed through into the milk.
And we have no studies. And are there studies that are looking at whether antibodies are being passed in the milk to
I
babies?
think yes. And you know what? I think I might have worded that wrong about the antibodies being passed into the milk. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that right now it is mostly like the mom's immunity. As far as it in the milk, haven't seen very many studies. I have seen pictures floating around on social media, like the one where the milk is yellow and then one where the milk is green. But again, there's no scientific study behind that or evidence to really show that that is actually COVID positive baby milk. And so that's another big thing is the milk transitions based off of the baby being sick, not the mom. So if the mom is sick, yes, the baby will still be protected. But if the baby is sick, that the spit from the baby's mouth going onto the breast is what changes the milk. So if the baby's COVID positive, then the mom's body will respond to the baby being COVID positive.
And give you a change in your milk. That's actually
Right.
very cool. Yep, that exchange with your saliva on the nipple is one of the most fascinating things to me
It
about
really
breastfeeding. It is just the way that your breast and your baby's mouth communicate is mind-blowing to me.
I know. The science of like our bodies is one of my favorite things.
Me too. I never would have thought I would have been in this field, but I sure am glad I am because I learned all really, cool things like this. Okay, so my last question is: are we seeing any sort of differences, positive or negative, in babies whose parents were pregnant and had COVID during pregnancy? Are we seeing any impacts on breastfeeding in that regard?
So actually, this is one thing that has been studied. So far, there has not been any difference as far as babies born with a COVID negative mom or a COVID positive mom, and that's even babies being roomed in versus in the NICU. There haven't been very many. There haven't been very many cases that show a significant difference, which I think is probably why they stopped suggesting that the babies go straight to the NICU for several hospitals, because there hasn't been any case that says the baby shouldn't be with the mom. But yeah, overall, from what I researched, it seems that the babies weren't having as much of an impact when their moms are COVID positive, which is great. So the moms, are able to feel a little bit more comfortable being around their babies.
That is amazing. Yeah, if you
Mm.
have questions about your baby and being infected, be sure to check out our episode of the same exact conversation with pediatrician Ariana Whitkin. She goes into protecting your baby and everything that you need to know after they are here. Erica, thank you so much for being here with me
Thanks
today.
for having
I really appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.